Did start against Northwestern, gave up 2 runs on 2 hits, 4 2/3 innings. Really a tough loss. Wildcats never got the bats going, shut out 4-0. The difference for Kentucky was playing in that first elimination game of the day yesterday, because they got some confidence. And what they ended up doing, scored 11 runs to knock out USC upstate in a 6-inning run rule win, and then they pasted 8 on Northwestern in that rematch. Without Lauren Boyd in the circle, they just didn't have the pitching to get through to the regional final. Brown swings and misses. What a start for Carson Fall in Kentucky.
And running this pitch in on the hands of Alex Brown gets her in a pitcher's count. Great movement, great location. I mean, if Brown even makes contact on it, she's going to be sawed off. What a start for Carson Fall.
Here's Maddie Moore hitting .415 this season. She's 2 for 7 on the weekend, a double and a run driven in. And she'll cut and miss. Final postseason championship for the first time.
In the last 4 of their 5 wins, they've scored in either the 6th or 7th inning to come from behind and take the lead. I mean, just the fight that they have up and down the lineup. I'm sure Coach Rittman would appreciate some runs earlier in the game, but they just seem to find a way.
Moore swings away and a high fly to right field, playable for Plutz, and she'll make the catch for out number 2. Kentucky's defense, Blum, Donaldson, Plotz, have already seen her in the outfield. Hutchins and Borzilleri, the usual combination. At the corners, Reisner and Clark up the middle. Ella Emmert behind the dish. And once again, and Carson Fall in the circle, making up the battery for Kentucky. Bouncer over to short. Reisner handles and fires in plenty of time. That is exactly what Rachel Lawson was hoping for. Clemson goes down 1-2-3 in the first. Pitcher of the year, the Winthrop transfer, but a senior playing in her final postseason. She'll start off Blum with a strike. Basinger combined in her 2 starts, giving up 2 runs on 8 hits in 5 2/3 this weekend, 4 strikeouts and a walk. 0-1 looked at for strike 2, called by home plate umpire John Baca. She did throw 3 1/3 shutout against Northwestern to start off the weekend. With 3 strikeouts. Rather, that was yesterday, and Rachel Lawson is trying to get some clarification here from Baca.
She gives a little thumbs up to the crowd as she walks back to the dugout, getting on her for getting out there. And this crowd, man, they're in it every pitch. They do not miss a pitch.
It is a really strong softball community, and that is impressive to say when you think about that this is only year number 6 here for Clemson softball. Sawed off, third base side, dunks in just foul. No man's land there down the line.
And you can see how Basinger's working early in the game. Inside corner, outside corner, inside corner, just switching locations on Blum.
For Kentucky, it's been a bit of an up and down season. They started 20 games on the road. Number 1 goal for Rachel Lawson there was to go out and give the team a lot of experience to lead up to this moment. That is what is so fun about the postseason. You hear it throughout the regular season. We talk to coaches and they say, you know, we're doing this to be ready for regionals, doing this to be ready for supers, maybe Women's College World Series. Well, they put in the work for this game, this opportunity.
This is the moment that matters. Years prior, when they're scheduling games and putting the work in the fall.
Easy for Johnson, one away. Here is how Clemson lines up. We saw Johnson, Brockenbrough, and Pipkins. The outfield left to right. Collins and Moore up the middle, flanked by Brown and Noller on the corners. Vieira behind the plate. Basinger, the second part of the battery. Maddie Clark now, the Oregon State transfer, stepping in. Clark has a hit in 5 of her last 8 games, but just on this weekend, 2 for 11, trying to get her bat rolling a little bit to set up Peyton Plotz. And this will head back into the seats.
Fans disappointed.
Very disappointed.
They hold everybody accountable here.
He's going to hold on to that softball. Most of them have had to be given back. I don't see anybody clamoring for it, though. Back to Basinger, knocks it down and tosses to Noller, 2 away.
And that's what you want to do when you're starting off the game. If you're Reese Basinger, get the first 2 outs. When Peyton Plotz steps into the box with nobody on, then you can go after her.
I have an unfortunate update for you, though, Brittany. The ball has been returned to an usher. Here's Peyton Plotz. Nothing unfortunate about her weekend. 8 for 11, triple homer, 3 runs driven in, and she has crossed the plate 4 times.
And she's done it to all sides of the field. We've seen her hit the changeup. We've seen her go opposite. We've seen her go to the deepest part of the field, too.
Now she's going to go to right center this time. Long run and over the glove of Pipkins. Heads off of the wall. At this point, you might even consider not pitching to her. Peyton Plotz with her 9th hit of the Clemson Regional.
You know, they go after this first at bat with nobody on, but I think you're right. She's just proving that anywhere close to the plate, she's going to put a barrel on it, and she has so much power behind that swing. That ball hits the wall in the air. She makes it look so easy, doesn't she?
It is a smooth, quick stroke. Hallie Mitchell, the cleanup hitter now, outside to her. Another player that surrounding Plotz, who is 9 for 12 this weekend. You've got Clark, who's 2 for 12, and Mitchell, who is 1 for 9. They can really get this lineup going even more than they already have. And remember, they scored 19 combined runs in 2 games yesterday.
Right, and with Plotz getting on base so often, it's really up to the people coming behind her like Hallie Mitchell and Borzilleri. With all those opportunities with runners in scoring position, take advantage of it. We've seen Clemson is very stingy when it comes to giving up runs. So if you have an opportunity with 2 outs and a runner on second base, these are the moments at the end of the game that you look back on and, hey, did we execute when we had the opportunity?
Mitchell this weekend 0 for 5 with runners on base. Trying to change that. Up in the count, 2-0. Went to the off speed.
Basinger's thrown 3 changeups so far in the game, and all 3 of them been called strikes.
Well, back-to-back now evens the count. A swing and a miss. 4, 5, and 6 due up for Clemson after the Tigers went down in order in the first. Macy Cintron, Abby Vieira, Marion Collins. A senior sandwiched by 2 freshmen. Cintron, though, the ACC Freshman of the Year, so pretty good one. Popped shallow right, long run, and Clark has it. First 4 retired now by the freshman Carson Fall.
I really like what I'm seeing from Carson Fall so far in this game. Going after these hitters from the first pitch, keeping control of at bats. Very efficient.
Rachel Lawson, head coach for Kentucky, knows her team, because I asked her who is the key for this club to make a run through the weekend, and she mentioned it was Carson Fall. They knew that they would need some really important innings. She started the opener against Northwestern, pitched well, and now they are relying on her to try to force a Game 7. Kentucky needs to win 2 today, Clemson just 1, in order to get to the Super Regionals and be one of the last 16 teams standing.
And what's really impressive for Carson Falls, she's just a freshman. This is her first postseason, getting the ball in Game 1 and giving her team a chance to win. She did that. She kept them in the game. The offense didn't show up. Yesterday, Kentucky got their confidence back in their offense, and if she pitches like she did Day 1, they're going to have a chance to win this game if their offense continues to shine.
Vieira had the hit that changed the game as much as any yesterday in the 9th inning against Northwestern, with a trip to the regional final on the line. Laced a triple into the right field corner, and then Marion Collins squeezed her home. It was pretty impressive too, because this is a team that is built on power, real gap-to-gap hitters. They also leave the yard with authority, and it was small ball that won them that game. And there's ball 4. First base runner is Abby Vieira.
You know, and that's what a complete team does. That's what a team that can make it a long ways in the postseason, if they have the ability to find different ways to win ball games. If the power's not there, if the pitcher has your number, how are you going to get runners on, and how are you going to get them across the plate? And it was the squeeze yesterday.
It's a team that's hit 81 home runs, 98 doubles. That's a program record, 7th most in the country coming into the weekend. And Marion Collins has been the counterpart to Peyton Plotz this weekend. She's 5 for 6. Ripped over the head of Clark into right field. Vieira's going to hold up at second as the trains pull into the station with 1 out.
And how good has she been? She is now 6 for 6, successfully advancing a runner. When there's a runner on base, she knows her job. She doesn't overthink it. She finds barrel to ball and just shoots it into the outfield to advance a runner into scoring position. I mean, textbook, do your job. You have one job at the plate based on the situation, and she comes up with runners on, and she knows how to get them over and keep herself on base too. She is going to be an absolute star throughout her career here in Clemson. Originally committed to Charlotte and then reopened the recruiting with the coaching change. A little bit low. Ashley Chastain leaving and going to South Carolina. What a job that she has done. Also hosting in the state, in Columbia. But with Courtney Brial coming, decided to open things up. And she chose Clemson. John Rittman told us that he went to every game she played last summer about. He wanted her bad. 2-0 now. And you know, this is a team that's arguably not where they are without Marion Collins. She single-handedly beat South Carolina earlier this season in a midweek with 2 solo homers, including the 9th inning walk-off. Oh, and she's also the starting shortstop.
Yeah, filling the shoes of Aaliyah Logaleo.
I think it's safe to say that Coach Rittman has a great eye for talent.
24th season for John Rittman as a Division I head coach, 18 years at Stanford, and now 6 as the architect of the Clemson softball program. Yeah, he's got that postseason experience. They went to 16 straight regionals when he was with the Cardinal, and the Women's College World Series appearance in 2001 and 2004. He's always had a good eye for talent, though. That's nothing new. Bouncer up the middle. Reesner dives to second. They'll get the out. Beautiful play. 6-4 as Reesner saves a run. 2 away now for Kylie Johnson, but she is used to being in these clutch situations. 2 for 6 this weekend. She had a 3-run homer against USC Upstate Friday. And an indelible moment in so many ways in the top of the 7th of the ACC Tournament Championship game, trailing Florida State by a run. She hits a 2-run bomb, and then Clemson closes it out for their first tournament title in the ACC. We'll talk to John Rittman coming up in the next inning. Get his thoughts on this regional final matchup and what he has seen between Clemson and Kentucky thus far. And now 3-0. Carson Fall has not thrown a first pitch strike this inning. And it's gotten into a little bit of trouble. Vieira with the walk, Collins singled, making it first and second, and then if it wasn't for Cassie Reisner's beautiful play, she'd be down a run right now.
You see when her outing before coming to Clemson in the SEC tournament, she got into some trouble with her control, and it looked like she was just trying to place the ball instead of throw it, and just cutting off her curveball, and it was falling out of the strike zone.
And the 3-0's outside the zone.
That's her trying to throw the curveball in the outer half, just not trusting herself, her spin, just getting a little careful. And you can expect that from a freshman in a high-power stress situation like we are in postseason, and I think this is a perfect time for Coach Lawson to come out and have a word with her. Just reset, refocus.
This is a building that the fans have been so into it the entire weekend long that, you know, it can be a really difficult and daunting place to play. So trying to just maybe quell the momentum, bring down the noise and the volume. And Kentucky pitching this season, I mean, besides Sarah Hendigas has really struggled. Alexia Lacatena has not been able to go for a lot of this season. The senior with a back injury. She only pitched an inning on senior day, and that's because, you know, it was that celebration for her. And they have had to rely on sophomores and freshmen. Bases are loaded for Jamison Brockenbrough, the number 9 hitter. 1 for 6 this weekend with a couple of strikeouts. And there is the first time that Fall has found the zone on the first pitch this inning. Tennessee transfer looking for her marquee signature Tigers moment. Probably won't get it here though. Blum underneath, and she squeezes it for the final out. Clemson loads them and strands them. We'll talk to John Rittman when we come back in the bottom of the second. Freshman has allowed her to have so much success in this type of environment.
Oh, she's just a very talented ball player, you know. High softball IQ, plays the game the right way, great teammate, continues to learn. She's got that growth mindset, and that's what's going to make her a special player in this program for years to come.
Coach, you've had tremendous success over your career in the regional final games. What was your message to your team today?
No different message. Hey, we're playing for a championship today, but you got to play loose, you got to play relaxed, you got to play free, and go out there and give it your best shot, you know. And I think we've done that all year long, and we've got some experience underneath us, and I think you're seeing that right now.
John, thank you so much for the time, as always, all weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Mackenzie Clark sentiment, what that says is I love John Ritty. It's behind. Oh, now, see, we had it perfect, and now she rolled it up.
Checking tan lines.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. We got a chance to talk to her yesterday. What a delight. She'll play in the AUSL, which you can watch all across the ESPN family of networks. An exciting new pro league here this summer when the Women's College World Series comes to an end. But the players, the young alumni love this program, and the entire fan base has just embraced it and John Rittman so much. It's been really cool to see. I mean, this success has followed, and they get the type of players that they need, and they've only been eligible for 5 postseasons because their first year was 2020. There was no NCAA tournament, and they've made all 5, and they've hosted 3 times.
Yeah, and I thought one of the coolest things that Mackenzie Clark said to us yesterday is that her class was the foundation of Clemson softball. They started this culture, but what happens after is really going to be their legacy. And I thought that was special. And they really built a solid foundation where Clemson can really grow from as new players come in and see the expectations that are set and the standard that was set by her class of Clemson softball.
Mackenzie made the 17-hour drive from Lubbock, Texas to be here this weekend. I mean, if that's not dedication, I don't know what is.
Yeah, she said she brought her dog, made the trip nonstop. And she's got to be so proud.
She went to 2 supers, and that is what Clemson has done as a program. Still looking for that first trip to the Women's College World Series, and even with how talented the Tigers roster has been over the years with Clark, Logaleo, and Valerie Cagle, of course, it's so difficult to get there. It just shows you how difficult it is. To another payoff as that floats into the bullpen. And maybe this is the year.
We said it coming into regionals, this is the hottest team in the country. I mean, they had their bumps early on, but they found a way to win when they need to. And that's what you want if you're John Rittman and have a young team. You're going to get better as the year goes on, of course, with the development and the experience, but you want to be playing at your utmost potential this time of year, and I think there's no doubt that that's what this Clemson team is doing now.
Looking to stretch their win streak to 10 if they are able to win this first game of the regional final, though it's not the end of their season. If they don't, we would have a winner-take-all Game 7 right here on this field, about 45 minutes after the final pitch. Tigers don't want that at all. Wildcats hoping for that in the worst way.
What an at-bat by Borzilleri. I'm just fouling off everything that Basinger gives her. Inside, she's going to foul it off. Basinger tried her outside. She fouled that one off. Now the changeup fouls that off. As a pitcher, that's so frustrating. You're emptying your bag, but the hitter is not giving in.
11th pitch of the at-bat. Borzilleri tags it, but pulls it well foul. Somehow that didn't find a spectator. Yeah, a little bit of green space right in front. There's not a lot of room out there, though. They have packed the left field berm. And it hit her. How about that? A 12-pitch hit by pitch. She is on with nobody out to lead off this second inning.
That was a lot of work to get on base. But so important to get that leadoff runner on. So many things that Coach Lawson can do. Now she's putting some speed on the bases.
Delaney Sullivan is going to come in and pinch run. This season has tried 5 attempts, stolen successfully 4 times. Though with Cassie Reisner up, 4 for 10 3-runs scored this weekend, probably don't put her in motion. Reisner is going to try to bunt instead.
And Reisner, she's got some speed, and I mean, if she's trying to get on base as well, I mean, that didn't look like a true sacrifice to me where you put your feet down, get set. She was moving through the box, trying to get herself on. This is the moment. If you're trying to get the runner to second base, be still in the box, see the ball down.
This one put down well. Brown to Moore in time. Good sacrifice, though, as it goes down 5-4, and Borzilleri moves into scoring position.
Yeah, it was a great adjustment from her first attempt. Much more still in the box, was not trying to get out. And
thought about the bunt herself. She's been one of the better hitters for Kentucky this weekend. The sophomore from Paducah, 4 for 8. Had a solo home run against Northwestern in their second elimination game of the day. 4 runs scored and a stolen base. This time she will bunt. It's the first baseman, Noller to Moore. All right, that gets Borzilleri 60 feet away.
Back-to-back, great execution on this. You can have just a blooper into the outfield. So many things can happen when that runner's just 60 feet away.
Conversation finished with pitching coach Kyle Jamison. Formerly the head coach at Furman, was the 2017 SoCon Coach of the Year, joining up with John Rittman to make quite a formidable duo. And also, I think what this says, if you're Ella Emmert in the on-deck circle watching all of that, Rachel Lawson's got a lot of faith in me. You know, giving me this opportunity here as you push the runner over to third base for me to come through with 2 outs.
You had to have your 6 and 7 hitters back-to-back sacrifice bunts for you to come up in this situation. You know, that's got to feel good. Your coach has a lot of trust in you and a lot of confidence in you to get the job done.
Ball and a strike on the Kentucky catcher. A later addition to the lineup as well. Emmert really used sparingly until recently. She's 21 at-bats this year. 12 have come in the last 7 games, as she started the last 6 behind the plate. And now Basinger 1 strike away. Well, she stranded Plotz in scoring position with a strikeout of Hallie Mitchell last inning. Trying to repeat a similar feat here in this second.
Good discipline by Emmert. In this situation, you want to get the bat on the ball so bad, showing good discipline, not chasing out of the zone, work this into a full count.
Hitting .429 this year with runners in scoring position. And she flares it left field. And there's Johnson on the run, galloping over to make the catch. For the second straight inning, and along with you, so glad to be with you all weekend here at McWhorter Stadium. What a privilege it has been. A gorgeous day, gorgeous ballpark that is packed full of fans. And not a lot of blue in the stands, as expected. We got mostly purple and orange.
Yeah, but those Kentucky fans, they're loud. They make some noise. They were loud yesterday. I don't think they sat in their seat one time during their game. You'll hear them.
Top of the order now for Clemson due as Alex Brown fouls it off. She struck out swinging against Carson Fall her first time up.
And this is one of my favorite parts of the game, when the lineup turns over for the second time against the same pitcher without having much success. Just one hit for Clemson one time through the lineup. Interested to see what kind of approach they take and what they've seen from Carson Fall in the circle and how Carson Fall can combat anything that Clemson tries differently.
1-1 is through the hole on the left side. For the first time, Clemson has the lead off on for just a moment. Brown's got to scamper back, and she does. That was almost kind of disastrous for Clemson, but they avoid peril there.
And I tell you, the last thing...
Wild pitch gets by Emmert, and Brown scampers down to second as the go-ahead run. Well, this is who you want up if you are John Rittman and Clemson. With Maddie Moore at the plate, Rachel Lawson realizes, hey, we've got to settle things down once again as the head coach in her 18th season coming out to chat with her infield.
Yeah, it also gives a little break from the crowd. And a freshman, big moment, leadoff hit, very next pitch, way out of the zone. The moment started to get a little big, crowd was getting loud. Coach Lawson's so good at managing pitchers and seeing the game and seeing what they're doing.
Well, Moore played a little bit out of position to start her career. She was at third base, not comfortable there. Numbers showed it. How much better has she gotten year in and year out? Look at that batting average from 190 all the way up to 415 this season. Most likely a two-time All-American at the end.
And Coach Rittman it was a testament to her hard work over the summer. He said every year she came back stronger, faster, better, that she did not take a summer off She was always working on her own, and that's what it takes to be an elite athlete, to have those numbers go from the 100s, 200s, 300s, and now into the 400s. It's all that work you put in on your own.
The 1-1 is skied to right. Going to Peyton Plotz once again as she makes the catch. Brown tags. Here's the gun from Plotz. Got away from Hutchins. Just to make that closer. Would be picking out a perfect time for her first hit of the weekend. Just 0 for 7 now with a couple of strikeouts. Every run so crucial in the regional final.
Yeah, I had her name circled on my lineup card, seeing when she's going to break out. She's such a good hitter. It's been quiet so far. This would be the right time for her to get things started for Clemson.
On deck is Macy Cintron. I am sure Kentucky knows that Noller has struggled throughout this weekend. Would set up another force. I would think Fall's going right after her here. That is exactly what she does now, 2-1.
And with the speed of Brown at third base, infield's got to be pulled in.
Anything up the middle, you're going on contact if you're Brown?
Yeah, I think you're reading down an angle up the middle, you're moving.
And the 2-1 is ripped dead center field over the glove of Donaldson. Brown can walk home. Ribby double for Julia Noller, her first hit of the weekend, and Clemson leads it 1-0.
And it was just a matter of time for Julia Noller to come through. There's a reason she's in that 3-hole for Clemson. She's been a...
Ball one, she flew out to second base, just beyond the infield dirt, her first time up. Anyone in this Tigers lineup can beat you. That's what makes them so dangerous. Good job by Carson Fall coming back, though.
Absolutely. And this game is so important for Clemson, too, because we talked to Rittman, and they like to play free. They like to, you know, have fun with the game. And right now, with this not being a win-or-go-home game for Clemson, they're able to have that freedom, not feel that immediate pressure that if this goes to game 2, will certainly be there.
Ball and 2 strikes now on the ACC Freshman of the Year. Still just 1 out in the inning. Fall's bringing it home, though.
She is. She's maintained her composure even after Clemson's able to scratch a run across on a big hit, to come back and gets this a big hitter with a lot of power, get in a pitcher's count. A lot of options here.
Up the middle, Reisner's got it. Just off the end of the bat. And Cintron is out, number 2. We'll talk to the Kentucky head coach, Rachel Lawson, starting in the bottom half of the 3rd inning when the Wildcats come up to the plate. Give a lot of credit, too, to Rachel and her pitch calling this weekend.
Yeah, her pitch calling, her managing of a pitching staff with injuries all season long. I mean, she's done a tremendous job at managing this program through the ups and downs and all the things you can't control that are so hard when players go out and got to put people in different positions and ask other people to stand up. She has managed the emotions and really created a resilient team.
1-0 flown down the left field line. Long run for Blum. It's foul as she crashes into the wall and immediately puts a hand on her back. The incredible freshman left fielder for Kentucky down on the warning track. I mean, just a do or die play right there.
she went hard into the wall.
Gave it absolutely everything, knowing how important that final out would be here in this third inning with Clemson threatening as the training staff tends to her. Athletic trainer Bray Papoto out there with her, as well as Rachel Lawson now as Blum finally gets up to her feet. That's a good sign.
It's a great sign. That was a very scary play. She was going full speed, all out, did not hesitate one bit, and then for her to come up and reach for her back. You love, I mean, this is amazing. Showing of toughness. Wow, what a tough player.
Season is on the line. There is no tomorrow. You know, you could say cliche after cliche, but really impressive for the Kentucky freshman.
She saw where the wall was. She knew where she was going and still went.
2 balls and a strike now on Vieira. And one of the players that, you know, Kentucky is going to need in order to win 2 games today and advance to the Supers.
And she still almost got that ball. I mean, incredible.
2-2.
And if you're a pitcher, man, you see your outfielders going into the wall like that, going all out to make plays, that makes you feel good. You know, you don't have to be perfect. You know your defense has your back 100%. The effort's there. They're going to do everything they can to pick you up if you miss a spot. You don't have to be perfect. It's tremendous.
Fall tries to work out of trouble. Has not been able to get ahead in this game. Just 3 first pitch strikes. She has battled back in counts very well, though. Limited it to 2 walks back in the second inning, though none of them came around to score. Clemson left the bases loaded. Whiffed on it in the dirt, came up empty, and Carson Fall got the strikeout she so desperately needed. But Clemson takes an early 1-0 lead through 2.5.
Lawson to the school herself. I mean, there's just little things you see that speak to how a team and a coach, you know, kind of get along and relate, and it truly is like a family in that dugout.
Well, she has set the culture in her 18 seasons. High expectations for the Kentucky program, year in and year out. One that has been to a Women's College World Series back in 2014. They are looking for their 9th trip to a super regional. They went 4 years in a row leading up to 2021, but that is the last time they've been there. So trying to reverse this recent trend. 2-1 now on Donaldson, 9-1-2 for Kentucky. Donaldson, Blum, and Clark all due up for Rachel Lawson. A lot of that has to do with the continuity of their coaching staff. Associate head coach Christina Himes has been with her for 18 years, all of them. 15 seasons for assistant Molly Belcher. And then everyone's really loved the addition to coming over with Grace Ballman in her 2nd season. Taking over this year is kind of more that traditional bullpen pitching coach. 2-2 lifted over Collins into left. And Donaldson leads off. What a weekend she's had now, 5 for 9.
And just like Clemson, able to scratch a run across after getting the leadoff hitter on. Clemson immediately responding with getting the leadoff on Donaldson and also turning the lineup back over to the top.
This is what Kentucky did against Northwestern. Yesterday, 1st inning, bottom half, Northwestern takes the 1-0 lead. And then the Wildcats come back and strike for 7 in the second. They scored after they were scored upon. Mark of a good team. We'll see if they can repeat against Clemson and Reese Basinger in the circle.
You see Reese Basinger going high in the zone. Last time Kentucky was in this situation with the leadoff runner on, we saw back-to-back sacrifice bunts. Looks like Basinger pitching to that possibility, but this time Donaldson swinging away.
Blum down the left field line, just foul.
Excuse me, yes, Blum.
She flew out to left. Her first time up to her counterpart, Johnson. Double a homer, 5 runs driven in for the freshman. Has had an incredible start to her NCAA tournament career. She'll bunt this time. And bunt on 2-1 for one of the most powerful hitters on your team.
You know, I think Christine Himes over at third base was giving her a strike to do something.
This is lifted again to center. A couple of Texas
base hit to get herself on base as well.
Not always about exit velocity. That one 48 miles an hour off the bat, but it works. Maddie Clark shows bunt, puts it down, and Noller goes to Moore for the out. This is what Kentucky has done so well this weekend. Execution has been key, and sometimes a problem all season, but not this weekend at all here in Clemson.
And I'm also kind of interested with that call now to sacrifice runners to second and third with Peyton Plotz coming up to bat, because now first base is open.
Yeah, do you pitch around her here?
I think you have to, but that was
apparently
not. that was pretty good pitch. I think Peyton Plotz is going to want that one back. But with first base open, you have the ability to pitch around her.
You got the go-ahead run right now, standing on second base with 1 out. I mean, if you were behind the plate right now, you would not be setting up over the zone, would you?
I would not, no.
One lifted, left field. Johnson has it on the run. A start and stop from Donaldson. Well, they got Plotz anyway.
What do we know? What do we know?
This is why we're not in the dugout.
That's right, and I tell you what.
Hallie Mitchell. Just 1 for 10 this weekend. And just like Julia Noller, who did not have a hit coming into that RBI double last inning, looking to reverse her fortunes. She's down to the count 0-2. Kentucky has already stranded 2 runners in scoring position today. There are 2 more out there. Here for Mitchell. Three straight outside the zone.
I know we're very early in this game, but this could be a turning point, one way or the other, this moment here in this inning.
Mitchell looks at strike 3. The second time that Basinger had a national championship. Marion Collins leads off, who has been just about unstoppable this weekend with a single in the second. She is now 6 for 7. The double and 2-run score.
She's been great with runners on, and this chance, she gets the chance to start the inning, get herself on, and have her team move her around the bases.
Off speed apparently just missed. Slugging a clean 1,000 with an OBP of almost 1,000. That's what happens when you're 6 for 7.
In your first postseason, it's just unreal.
And you would have to think, Brittany, that the run through the ACC tournament did wonders for these young Tigers players.
And for Marion Collins, I think back to that South Carolina revenge game where she had 2 solo shots, one being the walk-off to beat South Carolina. And for a lot of people on this team and Coach Rittman, that was almost the turning point of the season, and thanks to Marion Collins.
That's exactly what he told us. She was responsible for both runs, 2 solo shots, game winner in the 9th, in certainly a ball game that had a postseason feel. The second straight inning that Clemson has started with a runner on base, and Alex Brown came around to score in the 3rd. The only run that we have seen for either team.
And that's been the difference in this game, is getting the leadoff runner on. Clemson with runners in scoring position, 1 for 6. Kentucky 0 for 4.
We get some more speed on the bases here, as Marion Collins has been lifted for Kennedy Ariel, who now appearing in every game as a pinch runner here in the Clemson Regional. It's the 4th one for Kentucky after they had to go through the elimination bracket, play 2 and win 2 yesterday. Able to run roll USC Upstate and then take down Northwestern. Taylor Pipkins drives it, deep left center field. Blum and Donaldson, look! See you later! Taylor Pipkins leaves the yard, and the Clemson advantage is 3. So a change in the circle now. They're going to go freshman for freshman as Julie Kelly enters. Carson Fall, kind of her downfall, unfortunately, today was the lack of control. 3 walks. That last one came around to score the Marion Collins walk on the Taylor Pipkins 2-run homer. And she'll deal to Kylie Johnson, who also had a pretty big home run during that ACC tournament championship. She'll float it down the right field line. There's trouble right out in front of Clark.
We saw Julie Kelly pitch yesterday, get the start. 3 different pitchers getting the start this weekend, but Kelly, she's going to work down in the zone right around the knees. She's got really good velocity, but she stays down around the knees. Then she's able to set up that rise ball for her K pitch. But again, for her, she's got to keep that control and work the bottom half of the zone, not allowing things to float up on her.
A little bit of a delay there. Third base umpire Jose Chaparro making sure that no one was touching the wall out of the left field berm.
Preventative instead of reactive, I guess, with fan interference. I think something's going to be going that direction.
2 balls and a strike on Johnson. Now 3-1. Kentucky only trailed once in yesterday's wins, where they combined for 19 runs. It was just 1-0 to Northwestern. Now 3-zip deficit. Though with the lineup that they have, very much not out of it. And this is a rematch of what we already saw earlier on this season. Kentucky able to outlast Clemson 7-6 in Clearwater, but that was back in February. Nice backhand stab by Borzilleri and touches up.
You know, both of these teams are very different than they were in February. That was part of Clemson's 3-6 start to the year. And we asked the Kentucky players, you know, will you use that win for some momentum, even though it was so far in the past? And they said, absolutely. We've beat this team once. We don't just have to believe that we can do it. We've done it before.
Different pitching options for Kentucky in this game as well, because Alexia Lacatena held Clemson to 3 runs on 5 hits and 5 innings in that game, but Lacatena hasn't really pitched the latter part of his season because of a back issue. So they see Carson Fall and now Julie Kelly. And Kelly did not pitch either. It was Lacatena, Sarah Hendiges, who you'd imagine is going to be in the circle at some point today and then fall through the final third of an inning. She got that strikeout against Kylie Johnson in the game. It was part of the start for Kentucky that was 20 straight games on the road. It was a challenge, a real test. Slow chopper, that's going to be picked up foul by Noller, or rather Emmert behind the plate. If the score holds, Clemson would be the Clemson regional champion. They only have to win once. It's Kentucky that the onus is on, needs 2. 2-2 bouncer to Cassie Riesner. She's up to the challenge once again for out number 2. Don't miss a minute of the action from the NCAA Softball Regionals, taking you to the best action on the 7 Innings Live show. It's on the ESPN app right now. You can see every game, every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. Join Matt Schick, Tori Vidalis, Tara Henry all day long. Got an Olympian on that list, a national champion.
You know, little ball.
That has really been an enjoyable watch all weekend long. Two outs and nobody on. Kelly has retired both hitters that she has faced since coming in for Fall after the Pipkins 2-run bomb. And the leadoff hitter Alex Brown takes strike 1.
And Kelly's really done a nice job to settle this momentum for Clemson, because when they get rolling and they feel good, things can get out of hand quickly, especially with the crowd behind them. So to come in this moment as a freshman, record the very next 2 outs.
Off of Kelly's glove, Hutchins doesn't have a play. So the second hit of the game now for Alex Brown.
And this ball right back up the middle, 1 hopper. Kelly in a position to make the play. Just so difficult for a pitcher when the ball's hit that hard at her. Good job getting some leather on it to protect herself.
And it means that Maddie Moore comes up to the plate, 0 for 2, with a chance to break it open. Brown on first, good speed. Moore committed to Clemson before a stadium was even built. Her first camp here was on a turf field right behind us at McWhorter Stadium. It was so hot that her cleats were melting, is what she told us. She's been wanting to be a Tiger for a very long time. And now even to 2-2.
She had to believe in Coach Rittman's vision. That's all he had to sell, was a vision that he had for this place. And she believed in it, and now she's part of making that vision into a reality.
Lifted, fair down the right field line. Plotz has it in the corner. Brown getting the go-ahead in without a throw. Maddie Moore gives the Tigers a 4-0 lead in the fourth.
And you would think a player that's hitting over 400 is going to look up there and put a big swing on a ball, but with 2 strikes, and in this moment, Maddie Moore just sticks her bat out there, tries to get a barrel on it. You see here just enough, not going down without a fight, and this ball sneaks inside that right field line. Alex Brown with her speed scores easily from first base, and Maddie Moore standing on second. Clemson looking to continue.
And doesn't that swing just exemplify why she's a .415 hitter?
It does. And as a pitcher, that is so frustrating. I mean, you had her 2 strikes, you threw a good pitch, she didn't put a great swing on it, and then somehow a run comes across and she's standing on second base.
Maddie Moore has just gotten better in every fashion. She only got 15 strikeouts this year, lowest number in her career for a player that has now driven in 66 runs this season to go along with her 16 homers. And as the runs pile up, looking more and more likely that she is about to go to another super regional. Also, some of you might be wondering why exactly, since we're playing in Clemson, are the Tigers the road team? Just the way it works in the NCAA tournament. You're not necessarily, just because you're the host, the home team. And so that's what it was designated today. Lifted into right center. To her right, it's Pipkins.
You know, Kentucky's putting good at-bats together, putting barrels on the ball. They're giving themselves opportunities. They've had runners in scoring position with less than 2 outs. They've just missed that big hit so far that Clemson's able to come through, and that's why they have the lead. But there's been runners on. Things have been happening for Kentucky in the box.
This is probably the best that we have seen Basinger look all weekend as well. So far, the longest she has gone is 3 1/3 shutout frames against Northwestern. And then she got into a little bit of trouble. Brooke McCubbin comes in, puts out the fire, and shuts the door the rest of the way. And that game went 9 innings. So she had to throw 5 2/3. And those were pressure pitches.
Yeah, she loves it, though.
1-2 is popped up. Does it stay in play for Vieira? It does, but she can't squeeze it.
Yeah, that's a very high level of difficulty play that a lot of people take for granted for a catcher. This ball is sky high, the sun's coming down on her, you've got the netting right there, your orientation's messed up.
Still got the mask on as well.
Let's see if Reisner's able to take advantage.
I would invite anyone to be in that situation and try to make that play and understand how difficult it is.
It really is, and it's something that you have to practice, and it's hard to practice too unless you have a really good coach that can hit really good fungo, or you can set the machine up and just put it straight to the sky, but you've got to have some help to practice those. But
yeah, those coaches are not a dime a dozen either, though. High fly to left. Johnson chases back to make the catch. Basinger starting 15 batters out, 10 first pitch strikes. Big reason that she has been so successful. She has not walked a batter yet today, just hit Lauren Borzilleri to start the second.
Yeah, and that's what she does. She's going to attack the strike zone. She's going to get ahead of hitters. She's not going to strike out a ton, but she's not going to be inefficient in what she does. She's going to go after the corners and throw a good mix.
She seems to just be getting stronger as this game goes on.
I think we may have had a warning issue to the Kentucky dugout. Not exactly sure who.
No balls and a strike on Hutchins. 2 outs, no one on. First inning that Kentucky has not had anyone on base. And the 1-2 bounced up the middle, and that's going to continue. Every single frame they've gotten someone on against Basinger. They've left 4 stranded, though, through those 3 innings.
This 1-2 count. And Hutchins able to just go right back up the middle with it. We saw Kentucky score 7 runs with 2 outs yesterday. They know how to get things going with 2 outs.
And here's Ella Emmert once again in a big situation. She came up runner on third, 2 outs after a hit by pitch and back-to-back sacrifice bunts, but flew out to left. These are the moments that Reese Basinger was hoping to pitch in when she came over from Winthrop to finish her career here at Clemson. And she is dotting the corner.
She really turned it on after that skid at the beginning and realized this team needed her. She wasn't here just to be an arm. They needed her to step up, and boy, she has.
1-2, a cut and a miss. Third time.
Baseman.
Cintron is on, and Ava Wilson is going to pinch run for her. Here's the senior Vieira. She walked her first time up and then struck out swinging to end the third. Finally healthy for a full season, and you are seeing what she's capable of. Julie Kelly out for the first full inning of work. She came in relief of Carson Fall. A big gap out towards right center field. Here, if Vieira can use it, instead take strike 1.
And we had the corners pulled in. Now with 1 strike, possible sacrifice bunt here, but Middle's playing up the middle, guarding the steal, possible double play.
Swinging away, put it over by the Kentucky dugout. Three-2 jammed her. The only play for Hutchins is to first, and she makes it. So, in essence, the exact same thing as this. And the more you score in this situation, you just, every single inning you can put a run or 2 on the board. It's so disheartening for the other team.
It is. It really is, but it's also a Kentucky team that can put up runs in a hurry. They have a lot of power in that lineup. They have the capability of changing a game with 1 swing. So the more runs you can put up, the better position you're going to be in, obviously, but especially against a team that can put up numbers really quickly.
19 in 2 games yesterday, including 8 against Northwestern. Collins yet to be retired. Single walk and a run scored. the windiest of days that we have had so far. It is really starting to whip now, blowing in from right center and dead center. The sun is shining. We have not really even had the threat of precipitation, which has been a welcome addition to this Clemson regional.
I mean, everything has been perfect here. This has been great softball, great atmosphere, awesome plays, performances.
Yeah, can't ask for much more. A triple play, a game-winning squeeze, some big blows. 3-2 lifted, left field, and Blum didn't make the catch there. Now, who could blame her after the type of O-roller to Reisner? Has to be quick, and she's not in time. It's going to do it for Julie Kelly, and we will see the Oregon State transfer Sarah Hendiges enter this game. Their best reliever, and she is trying to put out the fire here in the fifth with Clemson up by 4. She has just had such an excellent run to the end of this season, start of the postseason. So Sarah Hendiges is in for Kentucky. Came over from Oregon State with Maddie Clark before the season. Leads the team 3 saves this year. She's come out of the bullpen in 5 of her last 8 appearances, only 8 starts all season. She is very comfortable in this role. And what Rachel Lawson has been looking for all year long is just how do we get to her? How do we get to her with a lead and have her shut the door?
And the reason she's so effective out of the bullpen is because of that pitch, her changeup. She's going to throw it more than any other pitch in her arsenal, and you don't see that happen very often with a pitcher throwing a changeup more than anything else, but coming mid-game really disrupts the timing of hitters.
1-2 to the opposite way. Sliding catch not made. They are going to go to second, and Plotz will get it over to retire Marion Collins. But it was in it. Love or not, definitely did, though. Kylie Johnson takes strike 1. You know, to your point, so we haven't seen a ton of home runs. 4 home runs coming into today, into the regional final, the lowest of any regional.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of situational hitting, putting the ball on the ground, hit and runs, the big squeeze.
And also, that's by a good margin, too. The next number above that, Columbia and Baton Rouge had each seen 7. How about Knoxville? 18 home runs through the first 2 days.
Well, I think we all kind of expected that one.
That's for sure. 1-2. He was the 2 seed coming in. Had a topsy-turvy year out of the SEC, but they have found something just yesterday because they had lost 6 straight games coming into the elimination round. Had scored only 10 runs in those 6 games and then put up 19-2.
And the opportunities have been here for Kentucky in their offense. They've gotten leadoff runners on. They've had runners in scoring position, but just 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position and 1 for 6 with runners on. Just missing that one big hit, that one hit that you're always looking for in those moments.
Is this going to stay in play down the left field line? In and out of the glove of Collins. She had a chance at it.
She was all over that. That ball was in her glove and then just popped out.
This is simple for Pipkins. And there's one away as Donaldson's retired. So Reese Basinger now through 4 1/3, her longest outing since throwing a 7-inning complete game against Georgia Tech on April 25th. Almost a month, and we have gotten so used to seeing the Basinger to McCubbin handoff. but they have not needed it so far. Reese has been excellent.
Yeah, she did get into a little bit of trouble bottom of the third. And Kentucky had second and third and just one out, and Peyton Plotz up to the plate, was able to get her to fly out, and then struck out Mitchell looking to get out of her own jam.
This is a really important inning here for Kentucky because they've got 9, 1, and 2 due up, but Donaldson has been hitting as well as anybody at the top of that order. They got her to start off the 5th. Trailing by 4. Need some production out of these types of players in Blum, Clark, and Plotz, and to get runners on base in front of Plotz.
And you see the change up there from Basinger. We saw quite a few of those in the first inning, not too many since, but now that we're going third time through the lineup, she's gonna have to do something a little bit different. Expect to see more change-ups.
Got jammed. Blum pops it up to center, and that's barely, I don't even know if that qualifies as center, as Brockenbrough. That's driven to center once again, and this a little easier for Brockenbrough. Quite a simple inning for Basinger. 1, 2, 3 go the Wildcats in the 5th. 3 teams have already punched their ticket: Florida, South Carolina, and Tennessee. So all 3 hosts from the SEC have gotten through. 13 SEC teams are still alive, as that takes one hop, and Reesner fires to get Brockenbrough. Second time she has tested the Kentucky shortstop and come up empty.
Yeah, the defense for Kentucky, aside for the one error that didn't ultimately hurt them, they've been solid this game, and they've been solid all weekend. Reesner making a nice play here because there's a ton of speed coming down their line with Brockenbrough.
So Brockenbrough's former team is into the Supers. 13 SEC teams still available to get to that spot. LSU is the only one that did not. The hosts knocked out in Baton Rouge before they even got to the regional final. A record 14 out of the 15 SEC programs with Texas and Oklahoma coming into the conference made it this year. The only one that did not was Missouri.
Yeah, they just couldn't get above 500. I mean, they were in the conversations to be in if they got above 500, but there's parameters set, and one of those is being above 500.
Well, and that's why it was so important down the stretch for Kentucky, because, you know, they had a sub 40 RPI. It was a team that the resume was good enough. They just had to be sure that they hit that mark. Ended up coming into the tournament at 29 and 26, I believe. Yeah, because they're 2-1 this weekend, so coming in 31 and 27. More than did enough, and they were never really a question of whether they were going to get an at-large bid or not.
Right.
16th straight for Rachel Lawson's team. They'll have to find some magic offensively, though. The way that Basinger has looked, they know that Brooke McCubbin is lurking, a team that is absolutely capable of pasting 4 on any team. But Plotz, Mitchell, and Borzilleri seems like a really important time in the 6th when they come up to the plate. Kentucky is a team that, even though they only went 7-17 in the SEC, I mean, you look up and down the schedule, it doesn't really tell the story. Because in those losses, so many of them by 1, 2 runs to some of the best teams in the entire country. Snared by Borzilleri, and she touches up for out number 2 to get Brown.
And you look at that, when all those 1- and 2-run losses, then you realize all the injuries that they've had to go through and kind of maneuver.
And there are the 3, all out of the Southeastern Conference: Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina. And you really just cannot say enough about the job that Ashley Chastain Woodard has done just a team that had struggled in the last couple of years. And she comes over from Charlotte. She brings a lot of those Charlotte players with her. And she not only has her team in the NCAA tournament once again, but hosting, and now in the Supers.
Yeah, Sam Gress has been dominant for them all season long in the circle. And
Jory Hurd's arguably been just as good, if not better. She was so good this weekend. Clemson could become the first ACC team to punch their ticket. Chopper up the middle, Reasoner again, but it takes a hop over a glove. And then you got to turn around and beat a team that hasn't lost all weekend twice.
That was a nice pick, too, behind the plate with Emmert. Trying to keep Maddie Moore on first base.
Runner goes, a little delayed steal there, and throw just a little bit late from Emmert. So Maddie Moore has her 11th stolen base of the season, leading the team.
Yeah, it was just mentioned trying to keep Maddie Moore off his second base with all the power coming up in the lineup.
Here's the change. This is to first, and Borzilleri gobbles it up. Kentucky coming up to the plate, trying to get into this 4-0 lead. With us all weekend long as well. Kentucky's going to try to get a rally going. Maddie Moore snares it and throws wide. Peyton Plotz is on once again, and not a surprise that she is trying to be the catalyst for Kentucky getting on base.
Getting on base, trying to get a rally started for Kentucky.
Hallie Mitchell now, a couple of strikeouts, but that ball is sent skyward, right field to the track. Pipkins gloves it for out number one. Mitchell gave it a ride.
You mentioned the wind last inning, and it is still blowing in off the bat. That sounded really good, and it looked good. I think it just got hung up in the wind coming in and stayed in the ballpark.
So here is Lauren Borzilleri, the number 5 hitter. Just 1 for 11 this weekend. Kentucky got the leadoff hitter on. Third time of this game. Also did it in the second and the third, but Reese Basinger ended up stranding 3 runners in those 2 innings.
Reese still looking sharp. I mean, that pitch right there coming in, just painting the corner, just like we saw from the very first pitch of the game, throwing that backdoor curve.
Driven to left, playable for Johnson. Well, coming up here on SEC Network, we will take you out to Lubbock. Mississippi State taking on Texas Tech. The Bulldogs are going to have to win 2 against one of the best pitchers in the country, if not the best, Nigeri Kennedy. Off the end of the bat, shallow left center, and it falls in that Bermuda Triangle. Plotz trying to take third, and she does. Ball gets away after it hits her, and she scores. Kentucky is on the board. And a bit of a stroke of luck right there for the Wildcats. Hutchins went yard yesterday, a solo shot against Northwestern. She could cut it to 1 with 1 swing of the bat, and it's felt because of the way Basinger has pitched like this has been a really big lead for Clemson, but it's just not. I mean, 4-0 is 1 swing of the bat potentially.
Yeah, and I feel like Kentucky has put their best swings on balls that we've seen so far in the game. The long fly out to right field by Mitchell, and then the fly out to left field, they were just misses.
Just downstairs, according to John Baca behind the plate. So it goes down as a single for Riesner, and Plotz scores on the error by the center fielder Brockenbrough. A big moment in this game, 3-1. Hutchins can really pick one out. Riesner on second, and it's ball 4. And this situation seems to have Brooke McCubbin written all over it, does it not?
This is what we've seen in the past, and I think we're going to see her come in. This is what she wants. She's the stabilizer for this team in big moments.
And here she comes. Who just has to get one out, but Ella Emmert at the plate is the tying run.
I mean, what a weapon it is to have Brooke McCubbin, a pitcher that lives for these moments, wants this moment, and is so successful at coming in when the other team is threatening and just stopping immediately. And you can see her scout. She's going to be down in the zone, not changing speeds too often, but when she needs to, she's able to. But she is going to paint corners like we've seen with Reese Basinger, but she's going to bring it in at the top of the 60s, more velocity from McCubbin.
A ball and 2 strikes on Emmert, who's 0 for 2 against Basinger. So Riesner on second, Hutchins on first. Down by 3. Swing and a miss. Change speeds. They throw down to third for good measure, but that's it. Here in get her team up at the plate, only trailing by 3. Wildcats will have 9-1 and 2 due up. And what they did with that really important 6th inning, they brought 6 to the plate, which means they got a chance for their heavy hitters to get one more shot. If anybody reaches, Peyton Plotz will come up.
Yeah, they put some good swings on the ball, finding a lot of barrels, productive at bats. They're probably their best offensive inning so far.
Cintron went for it, 2-2. Down to 50 miles an hour with that change. She is not featured in the circle, but Cintron is an incredible 2-way player. She's thrown 61 innings as a freshman, but we have seen her more often than not recently as the DP as well as the cleanup hitter.
Yeah, I think everybody was fully expecting her to get some innings this weekend, but Basinger and McCubbin have just been dealing in the circle for Clemson, and they haven't needed her.
Ooh. It's a bold choice trying to catch that one.
There's little ones around. She's just making sure everybody's safe. Gonna take one for the team. She's good. Thumbs up.
Got into the 3-2 once again, pulled foul. Oh, that time it was hauled in.
Yeah.
Okay, you do that, humor me here. You keep the softball, right?
You know, you would like
you didn't just
to.
pick it up off the ground.
You'd like to. But I told you yesterday, a dozen softballs cost well over $100. They're not cheap. And I think it's an NCAA rule, you know.
You're thinking too economically. Just missed. And there's a leadoff walk to Cintron. Yeah, we've been told that John Rittman's preference is for the fans to keep the balls.
Yeah, and they get 2 in the regular season, but then, you know, postseason, NCAA, you know, they have their rules. They only ship so many balls here, I guess.
That's exactly right. She still got it for now. Here's Abby Vieira. Shows bunt, puts it down, push foul.
And you see the immediate frustration from Abby Vieira wanting to get that ball down, playing for another run. Just a 3-run lead with Kentucky just one more at bat left. You know, every run's going to be important. They came really close to, you know, cutting into this lead last inning. They've had opportunities to have big innings.
That's in the hole left side. Vieira has her first hit of the game, third of the weekend. Out here against Hendigas for Marion Collins, the hottest hitter on this Clemson team. She has continued that. 2 for 2 today with a walk and a run scored. So now, that is not bad. 7 for 8.
Even with those numbers, the corners for Kentucky are pulled in tight. Seen Clemson attempt quite a few sacrifice bunts in this game. Kentucky's going to be all over it. There's also some pop in that bat. Collins decides to swing.
It would certainly be understandable if John Rittman asked her to put the bunt down. She's got that first strike on her, so maybe we will see it here. No, she's swinging. Into right field, why not let her swing away? It's down, Plotz's throw comes all the way home, no advance. Bases are loaded, first 3 on against Hendigas in the 7th.
You know, and Clemson is not being fooled by the change and be very comfortable in the box, and now back-to-back hits in the top of the 7th.
Collins has now reached safely in 10 of her 11 plate appearances this weekend. It's a weekend to remember, no doubt, for the freshman Clemson shortstop. So Cintron moves to third, Vieira to second, Collins to first.
And no outs.
And Clemson is in danger of breaking this open. This is the season right here for Kentucky. The goal right now is to make the 7th inning matter for them at the plate.
Infield's pulled in for Kentucky. Like you said, keeping this game manageable. Corners in. And try and cut that runner at the plate.
This is Kentucky's best option here in Hendigas in the circle.
Yeah, and I think if she can get that changeup for a strike and get a rollover to the left side of the field, look for a double play.
Yeah, best thing would be a hard hit ground ball at someone, and maybe you can come home and then go to first.
Yep.
Or step on third, throw to first. There's a lot of ways to get it done. The only unlikely thing here is probably a double play up the middle. Taylor Pipkins, 1-2. Flight out to shallow center. They're going to test Donaldson. They are not. And that's
Wise.
A smart decision. Very smart. I mean, it was so shallow.
And she had a cannon.
Cintron would have been cut down for sure.
That was a great throw out there.
That's a big first out. No advance. And now you deal with Kylie Johnson, which is no easy challenge here. She does have 1 at bat against Hendigas already today. She struck out swinging to end the 5th.
And after Hendigas, you got in this situation, bases loaded, no outs, but now you know you're 1 pitch away of getting out of the jam for that ground ball to the infield. Let him turn a double play, and you're out of this.
It got away from Emmert. And Cintron did not test her. You know, Cintron was already run for, too.
Right.
So she's got to stay in.
Emmert behind the plate tries to pick that one out of the dirt.
2-0 and nowhere to put Johnson.
Couldn't imagine getting green light in this situation. Prove that Hendigas can throw you a strike. Don't bail her out.
It's right down Main Street. And now she'll look for a good one. 3 balls, 1 strike, bases loaded. Clemson trying to add on to their 3-run lead in the 7th. And Hendigas battles back for strike 2. Cintron on third, Vieira in the middle on second, and Collins on first. Just waiting for John Baca to receive some new softballs.
That's why we have to give the balls back, Alex. Look, we're running out already.
Hopefully they've got a few more there in the dugout.
I'm sure they do.
Let's have a payoff. To third, knocked down by Hutchins. The step on third by Reisner. That's the only out they'll get. Clemson adds to its lead, and it's back to 4.
Very hard hit ball, well hit ball off the bat.
Jamison Brockenbrough into left, and there's Blum to save the season potentially. Last chance now for Kentucky. Donaldson, Blum, Clark trying to keep him alive in the 7th.
Consumer Reports ranks.
Donaldson starts it off with a slow roller. Tough play for Collins, just in the nick of time. 1 out in the 7th.
Clemson.
Humpback liner to Collins. Clemson's 1 out away.
We're going to take another look at this one. Coach Lawson comes out.
The centralized replay command center in Pittsburgh. Calling the field is out at first base. Needs to be indisputable video. A final chance. This is not delaying the party for very long, though, for Clemson. They are, all the fans still very much in it. They have not sat down, and they have packed out McWhorter Stadium the entire weekend. It's been the toughest ticket in the state. They sold out in 5 minutes, and that included a site crash when it went over to the general public. That on sale did not take very long. You didn't get your seats. You didn't get the opportunity to be here. And we got the call from our own plate umpire, John Baca.
Base is going to be up.
All right. So there it is. Allie Blum retired by Collins, and Kentucky is down to the final out in its season.
And just 2 pitches. 2 outs. 1 out away.
Addie Clark down 0-1. Swing and a miss. Kentucky down to its final strike.
Beautiful pitch by McCubbin. Kentucky's out here, swung at every pitch they've seen so far in this inning, and she pulls the string for the changeup. Now it's 0-2, 2 outs.
We'll see at least one more pitch. 1-2 to Clark.
This place is ready to erupt. But Clark putting a good flight.
Sorry, Brittany.
Yeah, Clark putting up a good flight here.
Ground ball to third, over the bag, foul. John Baca made a demonstrative motion. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Clark. Ground ball up the middle, could do it. Collins to first in time. For the 3rd time in its budding history, Clemson